that protein will turn into sugar, which, is what we're trying to avoid here. And then fats. You just want to change your fats. You want to take out your bad fats. We all know what the bad fats are, right? Is margarine a good fat or a bad fat? Bad fat. How about, let's take a look at corn oil. Or any vegetable oil. How about canola oil?
No.
Okay, these are bad. They become rancid, right? So even though they've been sold to you, some of them as good fats, they're actually bad fats. And replace them with good fats. So raw butter, coconut oil, flax, borage oil. These are all good oils. There's good nuts and seeds. And so you want to put in, this is basically a high-fat diet. Okay, so a lot of your calories are going to come from good fats and good carbohydrates, and then moderate amounts of protein. Can you have meat on the advanced plan?
Not red.
Very close. Except you can have grass-fed red meat. Okay. You can have chicken as long as it's natural, no antibiotics, right? More antibiotics are given in foods today than they are by doctors. In fact, up to 95% of antibiotics come from chicken and meat. Guess what else is hiding in that stuff? Hormones. You wonder why, kids are becoming they're evolving or becoming taller. I saw a study that said that girls are maturing on average 1.5 to 2 years younger today than they did 10 years ago. So there's a problem going on, and so if there's hormones going into our body, because if they're putting pesticides on their food and then they're eating corn, and are cows supposed to eat corn?
No.
Are fish supposed to eat corn?
No.
And that's what they're feeding farm-raised fish. And then we eat that stuff, then it's been raised in a bad environment with all sorts of pesticides and things on it. The bioaccumulation of that makes that product rancid. Okay? So you want to go the really hard but most toxic-free way, go raw vegan. But for the rest of us, and myself included, just try to pick your meats, your vegetables, your fats safely. The advanced plan has all of the details in it, how to get that stuff, and how to make it more affordable for you. Things like food co-ops, which some of my people here, you guys still do the food co-ops? And so you can make it more affordable if you buy it in bulk with a bunch of people. The Beyond Organic is another way to get your meats more affordable. So there are ways to do it, because sometimes it can get more expensive if you do it. But even if it were more expensive, if it's a little bit of an investment up front, but then the payoff is huge on the other side because you don't have to pay for disease. Just think about it that way, okay?
How much is a gram?
How much is a gram in terms of what measurement? Oh, in terms of protein. They usually will say it like on the side, if you're like on a protein powder, it will say it. But in terms of the size of meat, this is about the size of meat that you would want, like the size of your palm in any given meal. Okay. But yeah, actually the omega ratio of grass-fed meat is identical to the ratio of omegas in salmon. So it's actually good for your heart and good for other parts of your body as well. All right, so just to like kind of throw the lights on where sugars come from. It's not just like, oh, white sugar. I don't eat white sugar, but breads are sugar. You guys know that, right? So make sure that if you're going to be on the core plan, then what kind of breads are you allowed?
Ezekiel.
Whole grain breads. Ezekiel is a good option there. But then there's the hidden sugars, soft drinks. So like if you're drinking that stuff, the high fructose corn syrup in there, it'll get you. And then lunch meats, pizza sauces, breads, pizza/sauces, crackers, fruit drinks, canned foods, yogurt, ketchup, mayonnaise. You got to look on your labels, guys. Read those things, because if it says anywhere around it, there are things in there that you can actually see that are actually sugar. Okay, so you have to read your labels. And high fructose corn syrup is the most common one of those. So let's look at healthy proteins and good fats. So you want to put in your body. So I guess grass-fed or green-fed meats, free-range, chickens, antibiotic and growth hormone-free, non-farm raised fish. Again, some options for you are bison, because obviously there's not a lot of farms that are raising bison, so they're catching them naturally. Eggs, cold water fish. The whey protein that we have, and we have a couple different varieties, but they're all basically from a type that is from grass-fed cows, and they're not killed in their processes. But if you use a lot of like the GNC and those kinds of protein powders, what's wrong with them? One, they have artificial sweeteners in them. Two, they have basically dead whey protein if they have them, and bad cheap forms of them. So stay away from that stuff, and they have all sorts of additives in there as well. Olive oil, great stuff, but don't cook with it. Okay. Avocados, nuts, walnuts are especially good. Almonds are great. And then I try to put good fats with every meal. Okay, so keeping your fat level up is really, really important. Okay, any questions on that before we go into exercise? Again, how many changes do you have to make in the advanced plan? 3, guys. So what are they? Change your fats from bad fats to good fats. Change your meats, right? And then how much protein per meal? 15 to 20 grams. Okay, and then what about carbohydrates? Okay. Veggies. So like if you look at your plate when you go home, your plate should consist of 80% good carbohydrates, vegetables. It's not the side dish. The side dish would be the meat. Okay? On your salad or veggies, throw some good fats. Throw the avocado. You know what fats do? They tell your brain that you're full. Okay? So if you say like I'm still hungry, great. Grab some either like almond butter, grab a spoonful of that. Coconut oil is great. I actually eat coconut oil. I'm going to gross you out. I take a spoonful of coconut oil before I go to sleep at night because I'm going through the fast. So I know that 8 hours later I'm going to break my fast, but I want to go into it where I'm having good fat, and actually putting good fat into you burns fat. One of the ways that I lost weight over the course of time was actually eating more fat.
A question: isn't coconut oil real high in cholesterol?
No, it's a saturated fat though, and so what you have to understand is they tell you that saturated fats are bad for you, but they're not.
Isn't it the same like with pecans? I mean, you ever look at the cholesterol level on a pecan pie? I mean, it's like 1,000 milligrams for a small slice.
I understand with your saturated fats, but what you have to understand is that cholesterol doesn't cause heart disease. It's the oxidation of cholesterol that causes heart disease. What causes oxidation? Oxidation is caused from cellular stress, which is free radical production, which is caused from bad lifestyle choices. And so you can actually have good fats going into your body, and as long as your C-reactive protein levels are not high, which is an indication of cardiovascular inflammation, as long as your homocysteine levels are not high, which is a sign of also whole body inflammation, as long as your LDL-P number, which is, if you look at cholesterol, they give you the HDL versus the LDL. Which one's a good, which one's a bad? Neither. Take a look at LDL-P. So if you're going to go have that blood work done and you're looking at LDL versus HDL, ask your doctor from LDL-P versus LDL-C, because it's actually the LDL-P which is the only one which has been linked to increased mortality from heart disease. Okay, this is 2011, guys, information. Okay, this is not 1986 saying good cholesterol versus bad cholesterol. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about plant-based fats at all. Okay? If you look at the diabetes rates of people who live in cultures where they have vegetable-based diets, they have no heart disease. They have no diabetes. It is unheard of. Okay? So it's the bad meats mixed with the bad proteins, mixed with the bad sugars that are the reason why America is bigger than ever and sicker than ever. Okay? Take a look at the China study if you want to take a look at what happened there. So I'm just going to go back into the exercise. So what we do in Max T3 is called metabolic conditioning. It's high intensity, short duration bursts of activity. Okay? You're not going on the treadmill, the same pace for half an hour. I'm done. It's not just about walking. You're going to go or you're going to stop. You're going to go, you're going to stop. And it's intense. How intense should it be? As intense as it should be for you. Which means on a scale of 1 to 10, is my 10 going to be the same as her 10? No. How do you know? You don't know how fit she is. But no, everyone's going to have their level of 10, but that's where you should be. Okay? So if you're 10, and you're serious about this, if that's your 10, then great. Then that's what yours is until at some point your 10 is going to be a whole lot better, right? But you have to go for it. What this does is it actually works on healing your hormones and your insulin response. It increases your body's ability to burn fat not only during the time of exercise, but for up to 48 hours after you did the burst or surge. So your body, even after you go to sleep that night, is still working out. It's trying to figure out, what'd you just do? I gotta fix this thing. I gotta make myself stronger so that next time you do it, I'm better. Does that make sense? And it improves your blood sugar control. And there's some ways you can even modulate that better. Like I take the Max Fit with my meals because it has something called ashwagandha in it, which also regulates cortisol and insulin. So it's a great product that Jordan Rubin came up with. But it also increases your lean muscle strength. So if you have more lean muscle, and ladies, don't worry, you're not going to get big on this. You're going to be toned, but you're not going to get big. If you have more muscle, then what does that do? It burns more fat. And it's an upward spiral. The problem is most people are on a downward spiral. How long does it take per day? 12 minutes. But wait, there's more. You also get this set of Ginsu knife. Now, of that 12 minutes, you're resting for half of it.
6 minutes.
So you're literally working out for 6 minutes a day. How many of you feel like you could handle that? How many of you just don't raise your hand for anything? Okay. So everybody can handle that. There's not a man, woman, child. When my wife and I do our Max T3 exercises, oftentimes on the weekends, and our kids will come into the room and they'll start doing it with us. What does that do for them? It's teaching them that exercise, mommy and daddy exercise, I want to exercise. Okay? So, as a parent, there's no greater gift than leaving a legacy for your children about what a healthy lifestyle looks like. I will be happy if on my deathbed at 120, if I see my great-great-grandchildren living a healthy lifestyle that they were passed on from generation to generation, that they're able to live to their full potential and they can achieve more of who they were and give more because they were healthier. So, best time to work out, first thing in the morning. Okay? You get your metabolic kick, better than 10 cups of coffee. Some of my patients ask me, how do you have so much energy? How can you adjust a couple hundred people a day? You don't have to work out, Dr. Matt. You work out with all your adjustments. This is how I'm able to do this. You guys get that? You want to be able to achieve more in your life? Get your body working for you. Okay? Your body should be working harder for you instead of you having to work so hard. And this is a great way to do that. In fact, if you start anywhere with your lifestyle program, start here. Why? Because physiologically, it gets your body moving. You have action. And that action then precedes the next step, which would be putting foods into your body, right? Because what kind of fuel does a race car driver want to put in their car? Does he want to put like the 86 octane, like the cheapest stuff?
Good stuff.
He wants to win the race, so he puts the best stuff he can put in his car. Does that make sense? So if you want to transform yourself from a Yugo into a race car, then first of all, rev the engine, know that you're a race car, it's in there, it's just buried a little bit, and then put the best fuel you possibly can. It takes me a minute and a half to make my breakfast. Do you think someone who eats a bowl of Fruit Loops, It saves them time. I can finish my breakfast in less than 5 minutes from beginning to end. From the time that I take my spinach and my whey protein and my raw kefir and my, what do I put in there? The bee pollen and the, what else do I put in my shake? Kale and
Chia seeds.
chia seeds. Actually, I use the EA Live now, which has 7 different types of seeds in there. But I throw everything in the kitchen sink, superfoods, in there in the morning. And it tastes great. And then I take my supplements with it. And it's done. I have the first half an hour of my day is the most successful part of my health. And when I sacrifice that time, it's all about the most important things. The spiritual time, the physical time. I'm just dumping it all in there. By 6 a.m., I'm already like, woo! I've done more by 6 a.m. than most people have done all day. And this is one of the big reasons for it, because it gets you thinking right. So there's another number of options. You can, if you're an independent, get the Max T3. It's $35. That's like 1 month of LA Fitness, but you have it for a lifetime. I challenge anyone, no matter how fit you are, to make this not hard for you. If this is not hard for you, you're doing something wrong. Okay? It should be hard for you. And if you said, "Whew, that was not hard," then you're not doing